As things stand. A surprising early leader there now, with Atkinson struggling on this stage. It's up to Petter Solberg to take the challenge to Citroën and Ford. He's going to be very close to Sordo's time. Well, he's more than close. They're dead level after 14 kilometres. P.T. Anderson and the new Suzuki team have had a torrid couple of rallies after a promising start to their debut season. Oh, but a big slide there. And that is an early finish to the Swedes' day. It's not a leaderboard many would have predicted, but after the first stage, it's Sordo and Solberg who are equal first. Hirvonen's in third, just half a second behind.
So, all warming up nicely here in Jordan, but things are about to get uncomfortably hot for one of the frontrunners. A baptism of fire next.
Go, we're on fire. We're on fire.
Welcome back to World Rally on Dave. The country of Jordan is predominantly Muslim, predominantly Arabic, and under the leadership of His Majesty the late King Hussein, predominantly petrolhead. Parked up for the people's pleasure at the Royal Automobile Museum is an incredible fleet of cars, as collected by the late King himself.
Motorsport started in Jordan since 1955 with the 300 SL Gullwing that you see in the back, and then a Porsche 904 GTS, which is a very rare and desirable model onwards until now. King Abdullah II was the Jordanian Rally Champion for 2 years, in 86 and 88, and today we are starting the World Rally Championship in Jordan. It is, in a way, 50 years in the making. Other cars that are very historical here is one of which is the 1952 Lincoln Continental, Lincoln Capri, that was used for the coronation of King Hussein.
And the Mercedes that he won the hill climb in,
yes,
is a lovely model.
Yes, and the video really shows him really going for it, and he broke the record for about 5 to 7 years before anyone could break that record. It was a wonderful day in 1986, I believe.
And what would you say is the rarest car in this collection?
Technically, we have, from a historical perspective, the Phantom 4 is unbelievably rare. Only 16 were ever made, and all of which remain in the respective royal or presidential muse. There's none of them on the market.
Wow.
That's an exceptionally rare car, the Rolls-Royce Phantom 4. And we have on loan the C111, the 1970 Mercedes C111. Now only 6
orange
were made.
Gullwing.
These were all orange. They made 6 of them. The first one was white, really.
Okay.
And then there were 6 cars, all prototypes, in 1969 and 70, trying out the rotary engines and some safety elements. And everybody wanted them produced, but they were never manufactured. And you see the pictures. King Hussein even went to the factory and road tested one on their circuit. And it was at that time in 1970, and we are the only country in the world who has one on loan. The rest are stored at the Classic Center in Mercedes.
Well, I could stay here all day, but there is a rally happening, and in the Royal Commentary box is Paul King. Fellas?
Why, thank you. There are 3 more stages to run before the midday service break, including the longest of the day, the 20-kilometre Mahez test. It's been a terrific start for Sordo and co-driver Mark Marty, leading a rally for the first time since Monte Carlo, benefiting from their experience gained at the Recce last year and their later running order. And the Spaniard has continued where he left off, extending his lead, while those behind him have been busy swapping positions. Petter Solberg had also been very quick out of the blocks, but after beginning to lose traction on stage 2 and finding his steering heavy, a setup tweak in the road section has unfortunately only made things worse. He's beginning to slip back. Mikko Hirvonen, though, is pushing very hard. A little too hard at times. That mistake in stage 2 nearly ended in disaster, but it has damaged his rear suspension. He's had to back off a little on the following tests, and the Finn slips to 5th. Jari-Matti Latvala, though, is beginning to find his confidence on these tricky, undulating roads. The 23-year-old is on a charge and moves past his teammate, and Solberg surging up from 4th to 2nd. Sebastian Loeb adjusted his differential settings after stage 2, and it's had an immediate effect. Second quickest on stage 3 and fastest on 4. Loeb moves up from 5th to 3rd. Chris Atkinson has been suffering from oversteer this morning, but has made up a place and is up to 6th after stage 4. Matthew Wilson and co-driver Scott Martin, meanwhile, are putting those new pace notes to good use. They're beginning to find a good rhythm and edging towards the point-scoring places.
So Matthew Wilson, flat out, foot to the floor, straight over the jump, cutting into this corner. Let's have a look on board and see how those pace notes work.
30, cut max right long, 50, cut max left continues, 220, right 2 plus, 15, max right 4 plus, 700.
So after 4 stages, it's Danny Sordo out front with a lead of just under 14 seconds, but it's all very close behind him. But right now, time for a quick dip with Neil.
After the altitude of Argentina and Mexico, the first ever Rally Jordan brings us to the Dead Sea, 400 metres below sea level, technically the lowest place on Earth. So where better to discuss the recent highs and lows of Jari-Matti Latvala. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
It's an extraordinary experience, isn't it?
It is a fantastic experience. You can't imagine when you look to see and that you're really good flow, but that's what we are doing now.
We're actually completely floating. There's nothing keeping me up apart from salt. Now, technically, you're one of the youngest drivers competing at the WRC level, and you do now hold the record after Sweden of being the youngest ever driver to win a World Rally event. How did that feel at the time, and have you got used to the fact?
Well, it's an amazing moment. You can't really understand in that moment when you win the rally that what you have done, but later you find out it's really that what was happening, and it was a special moment, very unique moment, and I was so happy, man, in Sweden in Karlstad on Sunday night. So I want more of those moments.
How would you describe your driving style?
My driving style is maybe a little bit like, reminds from the old style when you were a lot of sideways.
But that's one thing that's great, because us rallies love to watch it sideways. And two, to be honest, that's a very Finnish thing, isn't it? To still be going sideways when the technology in the car means that you can actually do it quite neat and tidy.
Yeah.
That's a kind of Finnish trait.
Yeah, it is. It's these cars have been developing a lot, and that's why they are more like a touring cars on the track. Yeah, on the trails. Yeah, that's right. But of course, it's a better feeling for the drivers and spectators when you are sideways, but it's not the fastest way to do it.
No.
So just a little bit of sideways is good for everybody.
Well, the sideways loving Finn gained